Hi, everyone. Welcome to PopCultX episode 71. Welcome to your weekly roundup, I guess, of pop culture tidbits, news, and our opinions, from our Gen X point of view. First, thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We really appreciate that. And I want to do a little bit more, a better job of saying thank you to our guest host from last episode, Ed Luce. We kind of got a little rush at the end there, so I didn't get to give him a proper farewell. So if you happen to see this, Ed, thanks again for coming onto the show. And if you haven't seen the episode, go back and watch it. It was very insightful to learn his perspective and his process and artwork and stuff. So once again, thank you, Ed. My name is Daniel, and along with Gabe, we are your host with the most to give you here all things, like I said, pop culture. So, Gabe, how are you doing today? How are you doing this week?
Doing good. So I'm a year older since the last podcast.
That's right.
I'm officially that much closer to being an old man. Or I suppose I'm already an old man, but even older. But so outside of getting older, I saw the musical Moulin Rouge in LA at the Pantages Theater on Thursday for my birthday. It was a lot of fun. It's definitely a Broadway show or musical for the pop cult kind of set, because all of the music is popular songs. There's no original music. I don't believe there's any original music in it. It's all so come what may. I think might be an Elton John song, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but they have Whitney Houston, they had Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, just a whole bunch of a medley of pop songs that they sort of turn it into the plot of the film, or the musical, I should say. And it's pretty much the same plot as the movie, but it was pretty interesting. It was fun. Yeah. I think they actually won for Best Musical, and I was slightly surprised because I would assume it's a musical that has no original music in it, that it's all pop music wouldn't win for Best Musical, but it did, and it was a lot of fun. So I can't say that it wasn't deserved, but it was a lot of fun to watch, especially for my birthday. It was a lively cast. The cast was really good. The dancers were amazing. The set was amazing. They had the set from almost very similar to the movie on stage, and a big giant elephant on the side of the stage. The Moulin Rouge famous pinwheel on one side. So it was a lot of fun. It was really cool.
I've never seen that movie.
I've seen bits and pieces of it. Considering that you're a musical fan, I would say that you probably would like it.
Yeah, I think I would, especially how you described it.
Yeah. Ewan McGregor is really good in it. Nicole Kidman is really good in it. God, I can't think of his name. John Leguizamo is really good in it. And Baz Luhrmann is the director.
Right, Baz Luhrmann, yeah.
It's really good. It's very fast, very kinetic. The shots, the music, the pacing of it is really quick. I would recommend seeing it. And it has, the movie has a song from Nirvana that's not in the musical, but that is in the movie. And it's really cool just to kind of see how they put the music in. I'm actually surprised that they have the right, they're able to sing that many pop songs in the musical. And I found out that I think Disney owns the show. So I'm like, oh, they have heavy pockets.
They got the money. Exactly. I really enjoy when directors, well, not directors, but creators, because it started off as a musical first, right? Before it became a movie. Is that correct, right?
Well, it was a movie, and then now it's a musical.
Oh, so Baz Luhrmann was first. Okay, so that makes it even better for me, because I really like how when filmmakers take songs from different eras and different genres and use that to tell the story. Even with the Beatles was Across the Universe, that movie there, they used the Beatles songs to weave in the story. And I think there's Rock of Ages does the same thing, and other movies and stories like that. But I really enjoy when they use the music to create the story.
Yeah, it's sort of like Mamma Mia too, where they use the music of ABBA, except it's music from all kinds of different pop music, and they shorten it so it's not like the whole song. There's bits and pieces that they sort of merge into, let's say one scene is a love scene, they'll have Elton John, Your Song mixed with Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You.
Right.
And it's just an amalgamation of all these different pop songs.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. The audience did sort of giggle when they recognized the song, which was kind of annoying because it kind of takes me out of, the fantasy that I'm in watching the musical. So that's annoying, but that's expected whenever you're in public that someone's going to be loud and annoying. So.
For someone who doesn't like musicals, Gabe, you see an awful lot of them, which is cool. I don't mind that, but it's just funny.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, I do like musicals. I'm just not a musical fan. Doug being like a huge musical fan, so now I'm starting to enjoy them a lot more.
Good.
But I'm definitely like I'm not wanting to perform in one. Like I'm not that kind of. That's what I think is like. They sing along.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
The words. I
got you.
Part of the cast. That's not me.
Speaking of musicals, since we're on musical films in a way, they released a trailer today. I saw for an artist biopic that I'm really a huge fan of, and that is Weird, the Al Yankovic story. So I don't know if you had a chance to see that or not, but it looks absolutely fantastic. I was a little tentative with Daniel Radcliffe being cast as Al Yankovic, but he seems like from the trailer, like he pulled it off. But what surprised me the most, not surprised, but what intrigued me the most was Evan Rachel Wood as Madonna.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she looks great. If you haven't seen that, go look at set images of her dressed up as the Like a Virgin Madonna. So she looks fantastic.
Nice. I'm excited to see that. I was a fan of Weird Al when I was a kid. I think famously like the spoof of like Michael Jackson's Bad, Like a Surgeon, Madonna's Like a Virgin. Yeah. So it was fun, growing up and having that as like a comic relief. I can't say that I've seen. I think the last song that I've heard was the Amish Paradise, where he was spoofing Coolio's Paradise.
Yeah.
And that was hilarious. And I think that's probably the last time I listened to anything from him. But I don't know anything about Weird Al, so I think it's going to be really interesting to see how he came about and what his story is.
I mean, how do they describe it? It's like a parody of his own life. So I wouldn't put it as 100% factual. It's like an exaggerated truth, I guess, is the best way of putting it. So think of what it probably did happen, all the segments in there, but it's not going to be like to the T of what exactly happened. But it's going to be fun.
Well, I always like take those biopics with a grain of salt because it's like, did everything really happen the way they show it? No, of course not. It's a little too perfect. But one of the things that I was kind of caught up with in the pop culture realm was this comedian who's somewhat famous. He's got some name recognition, but I don't want to mention him because I feel like it's a tactic now for comedians to kind of go after someone to gain like cred and be like, yeah, like comedians are the ones that like make fun of people or comment on stuff and this woke society won't let me tell jokes anymore. So they're trying and I think it's a way for them to get attention. So anyway, not going to mention him, but a semi-famous comedian from like, I would even say like the early 2000s. So not really like ultra relevant, was asked what they thought about Lizzo's music specifically. And then he, instead of answering like what he thought about her music, he went into her and talking about her weight and her looks. And so rightfully so, he got a lot of pushback. A lot of women kind of were defending Lizzo and saying, oh, you're, ugly, you're fat yourself, you're this, you're that. And he made a message as like a response to all the criticism saying, oh, you women are responding to me in an emotional way. I was just being factual. She is overweight. And it's like, well, so are you. But it seemed to get lost on it. I bring it up because she actually was performing on the VMAs. Her red carpet was like one of the highest tweeted, things about the VMAs. She wore like a really voluminous black gown that was just like really cool and avant-garde. She had a really cool outfit that she performed in. she won an award, and she didn't mention this person particularly, but said for like all the people that are hating, like, look, I'm winning right now, so like go ahead and keep on hating, like I'm doing my thing. And that's sort of where I sort of fall, which like I think it's really funny that she gets so much criticism, and people love to say like, oh well, for health reasons she needs to lose weight, or she and if you see Lizzo, she's dancing, she's twerking on stage, she's like running up and down the stage, playing the damn flute, singing. She's like very active, and she's doing it very successfully. She has like a great music career. She's winning awards. She's gained a lot of popularity and is super relevant versus this comedian who is not very relevant. So it's very sexist, it's very sizist, and I think that she had the best response is like, I'm not going to mention you by name because like you're looking for clout, like you want her to mention your name so you can get more in the media. It feels very much like Dave Chappelle and like trans people, or what's the English actor that like talks all a bunch of shit about woke people now? Ricky Gervais.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say Russell Brand.
No, Ricky Gervais is sort of like branded himself now as like the anti-Hollywood,
Yeah, that's true.
Like anti-trans, and it's funny is that I just saw like in his writer for when he performs, he doesn't allow people to have ice because he says the noise of the ice being crunched throws him off. And I'm like, you're talking about quote snowflakes, and here you are, you can't perform while people like ice is too distracting for you. So I just think that these comedians are like, they see that with Dave Chappelle that it sort of gave him a little bit of an edge to make fun of trans people, and they're like, what if I go after a marginalized group that gets picked on in society, and unfortunately in today's society that's like accepted, like that's kind of almost like a cool thing for a lot of people like Trump to go after the people that get picked on. So I'm glad that she didn't bring him up by name. Like hopefully he fades back into oblivion and she just keeps on living her life and being amazing. And so that was like my big takeaway from the VMAs. I didn't watch it.
VMAs?
Yeah.
They're still around? What are you talking about?
Yeah, so
does MTV even show music videos?
Video Music Awards from MTV, which back in the day used to be music television. Not really so much music television anymore. Not so much videos, but they still do the VMAs. They still have performances. And
now, are the VMAs for music videos, or are they just for the music?
No, it's for the videos. That's what's kind of weird.
Right. Okay.
You honestly, like, they should be called like the YouTube or like what is it? The Vivo, where they play
Vivo, yeah.
Like that's where people watch videos now, not on MTV. So like
exactly.
MTV has no rights to like best video. They don't play it. Like, so I think that they changed, like I said, I didn't watch it, but I think that they changed around by letting people vote. So it's sort of like
the
Choice Awards. The other thing that was, this obviously is not for me, not for my generation, the VMAs, like our time has passed. It's not
exactly.
I don't know who pretty much any of the performers were. So I didn't watch it, but I did get on Twitter, of course. And one of the big things was Bad Bunny performed and kissed two of his dancers, one being female, one being a man. And so, of course, there's like pushback or like backlash regarding him kissing a same-sex dancer, which is like funny because Madonna did that with Britney Spears and Madonna, like probably like 10, 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago.
And
like
Christina Aguilera too, yeah.
Yeah, like how are you like shocked, or it's so like mainstream that like really people are surprised, or oh, he should be ashamed of himself, or I've heard all kinds of different responses to it. And it's like, if that shocks you, you're living under a rock.
That's true.
You really need to get with the times. But outside of that, that's all I heard about the VMAs.
Well, the only thing I saw with the VMAs were Lil Nas X's outfit.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah,
that was quite the piece. That was like a showstopper. That was quite amazing. That was really cool. And then to make me feel like I was living under a rock, I saw this story about this. I don't know if he's a rapper, performer, what, named Young Gravy.
Yeah.
Taking a person named Addison Rae's mom to the VMAs and making out with her on the red carpet. Now, I only learned about Addison Rae. I guess she's some famous TikTok star because she was on this Hey Google commercial that's always like playing on Hulu. I'm like, who the heck is this person doing this, humming this song? They don't know what it is, right? So I had to look her up to see who that was. And she has like millions and millions of followers. So kudos to her for getting that and becoming that famous via that platform. But who are these other people? Why is your mom going on a date with someone named Young Gravy to the VMAs?
I have no idea. And to be honest, I sort of hate the way, someone gets famous in like a reality capacity, like TikTok or, I mean, reality shows like Kim Kardashian, and how like their whole family gets famous because of the one person. I really dislike that, because it's like, not only does, okay, so I'm not going to, talk down upon this young girl because I don't know her. So let's say she is talented, for argument's sake. She's talented. She makes these great TikToks. Okay, why is your mom relevant? Like, does your mom participate in it? Like, she's just literally trying to like get on the gravy train and get famous off of you.
The gravy train.
I got it. The gravy train. And I didn't even plan that or think about that. Wow. I don't even know who he is, to be honest. I literally looked him up because he looks so corny and cheesy. Like, it's almost like he reminds me visually, and I listened to one song before we logged in. He sort of reminds me of like a white frat boy that dresses up as a pimp for Halloween, like, and starts like using pimp lingo and like culturally appropriating like language.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Behavior. And but then goes back to being like a drunk frat boy. Like it's gross to see it. And then the way he was kissing her, I don't care about the age difference. I just care that it's like a stunt. Like, it just looks like such a stunt for both of them. And it's so gross. It's like, it's not interesting. There's nothing interesting about it. But I mean, it made me look up his music. I will not buy it because it's core. I don't know if people like him, if people listen to his music. From what I heard, he got sort of some notoriety from Spotify. Like, one of his songs got big there. Anyone, I suppose, can be famous now, but it was just, it's weird. And then as I was, looking through Twitter right now, the father of the girl, ex-husband of the woman who went on this date, he posted a picture of himself without her shirt on, saying like, thanks for taking the leftovers to Young Gravy. She convinced me not to be with my kids, and don't ever let a woman. And it's just like, what? Like, no, I don't want to know about this. Like, no one cares about you guys. Like, so like now we're getting more about her dad and her, and it's just, it's so messy and not interesting. I mean, and this is from coming from a guy who watches Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And I think this is too much. And this is stupid. So that's going to be the extent of what I ever will learn about Young Gravy. Or I don't even know the mom's name, like MILF or whatever. I mean, I have no idea. So it's so random. It's so stupid. But there you go. We're out of the loop. Where it's not for us. It's
official.
Probably, I mean, are we the same age as the mom? I wouldn't doubt it.
I wouldn't doubt it either.
Yeah, she probably is like 45. I mean, if she's still considered a MILF and the girl is in her 20s, she's probably our age. So
probably.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess kudos for her for being out and getting an invite to the VMAs.
Being more in the loop than we are. So
yeah. So outside of that, VMAs we both didn't watch. Did you happen to get the new episode of She-Hulk?
Yes. She-Hulk is fantastic show. I'll just start with that. We haven't really talked about it yet. So as you know, She-Hulk, everyone out there, I mean, maybe we did talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, we did.
just bringing it up, but Tatiana Maslany is so perfect in that role as Jennifer Walters.
Yeah.
It was just great. And I don't want to give it away too much because I know you haven't seen the second episode, but I will say the actor who plays her father shows up, and that is
I know who it is.
Oh, what's his name? Marklin Baker. There you go. I'm looking on the IMDb page, and he's the guy who played in Perfect Strangers.
Yep.
So it was just like seeing him and hearing his voice, and it was like, I know who that is. And then I was like, wow, where's Balky at? I want to see their happy dance. And it was just so cool seeing him back in there and becoming, I don't know, somewhat relevant again.
Yeah.
But that was a lot of fun.
Sidebar, wasn't that the weirdest show? Like, when I think back about that show, it was like these two dudes that, like, I don't even remember how they came together, but like Balky was like super affectionate to the white guy, like always hugging up on him. Like, it was just such a weird relationship dynamic.
Well, supposedly he was like his cousin or something, like his long lost cousin. Something like that.
Yeah, I vaguely remember the plot, and Balky just being annoying, played by Bronson Pinchot. It's like, I don't think is even like, I think he's just Jewish. Like, he's not like from whatever country they were pretending to be, like a made up country. But yeah, I just thought about that. I was like, it was just such a weird 80s sitcom, which is funny because that's sort of She-Hulk's vibe, right? Like, it's
it is
that somewhat cheesy sitcom. And I kind of like that. It fits with the comic character, breaking, the fourth wall and talking directly to the audience and kind of wink, wink. They actually just announced that Megan Thee Stallion, I think, is signing on to be on the show. So then obviously there's going to be a second season then? I mean,
no, I think she's going to be on this season. In an unreleased role yet. I mean, so it's 9 episodes. This season's 9 episodes long. So it's going to be, they haven't announced where she's fitting in yet. Yeah. But supposedly she's going to be in there. So that's interesting. Yeah. So I'm looking forward. From what I read from the creator, what was her name? I think her name is Jennifer Gao or something like that. The creator of She-Hulk, that episode 4, or Jessica Gao, sorry. Episode 4 is going to be like probably one of the favorite episodes for everyone. So I guess we don't have to watch episode 3, which comes out this week, or I don't know. But she said that episode 4 is going to be one that you don't want to miss.
So does that mean Daredevil's going to show up?
Maybe. That's what I'm hoping. It was really cool though.
Did we get more of Titania on episode 2?
No, she which is kind of sad. I know she's going to be coming back. Well, we got a little bit at the beginning of it when they were just talking about what happened and using it as to set up the events that happened in episode 2. We did see Tim Roth though as Emil Bansky.
Abomination.
Yes, but as to the Emil character, which I thought was really cool that they were able to get Tim Roth to recoup that role. So I thought that was really cool. At the end, or not toward the end, but kind of toward the end, Jennifer Walters calls up Bruce Banner, Hulk, says, I wanted to, they have a little conversation, and then they fade out on Hulk as he's hanging up, and he's on the Sarkarian spaceship that stopped them in the first episode. So we don't know where he's going, but the theory that I've read and heard is that he's being called back to Sakaar to meet his son for setting up the whole Planet Hulk, World War Hulk type of thing. I guess his son's name is like Scar or something like that. I didn't know he even had a son. Yeah, he had a son, I guess, when he was not in the MCU yet, but in the actual comic book run, he has a son.
That's interesting. I know there's a comic book that he is like the older evil Hulk, Maestro. And I think that would be really cool because the Hulk has got the short end of the stick, I think, when it comes to characters. I think they have a lot that they could do that's kind of interesting, but they've kind of switched gears and they're going in a different route. But I'm excited to see what what is coming forth. One show we have watched, which I don't think I brought up, which is kind of like I'm into, but it's really frustrating, is a show called Midnight Mass. Have you heard of that? It's on Netflix.
I've heard of it, haven't watched it yet. I heard it's gotten really great reviews, so I haven't watched it yet.
I kind of disagree with the great review. Well, it's entertaining. It is entertaining, okay. But there's one thing that I can't, it's kind of a spoiler. So like, I don't know if you want to hear this.
Go ahead. No, okay. Say all you want.
The plot, kind of really quickly, not even getting into the plot is this old priest is like about to die. He goes to Israel, goes to the Wailing Wall. There's this crazy sandstorm, sort of a la Aladdin, where the sand kind of sweeps by, and there's this big tomb. He goes in the tomb. He gets attacked by a monster, clearly a vampire, like bat wings, fangs, long nails. This old priest wakes up and he's young again. He thinks it's an angel.
Okay.
He thinks an angel sucked the blood out of his neck, made him drink the vampire's blood. Then he goes into, the plot is he goes to this island, and that's sort of where the whole series is based off. He still is telling everyone it's an angel. People believe him that it's an angel. And I'm like, has no one heard of vampires? Like, is that not a thing in this fictional town? Like, and they're Catholic. He's a Catholic priest. I get the metaphor of like drinking the blood of Christ. For people who are Catholic, they know what that means, the body of Christ. So I get that, but like, call it a vampire. Don't call it an angel. Like, it literally looks like a demon. No Catholic in the world would see a demon bat wing creature and be like, oh, that's an angel. Like, we've been trained from birth to be fearful of the devil and demon. And, there's art in the churches and the Bible about winged devils and creatures. No one in the world would ever see a vampire and think that it's an angel. So just for that, like every episode, I am sitting there like, how does he think that's an angel? It's clearly not an angel. So anyway, they do have good characters in it. It is kind of interesting. Fun fact, I guess, is that there's a character on it who is played by the star. Oh my God, now I'm going to forget her name. Annabeth Gish, I think is her name. Let me see if that's the correct name. So for those in the know, I was actually in a movie with her that was filmed in Arizona, and her name is Annabeth Gish.
Yeah.
When I was probably like 6, maybe even, probably 6. And it was with John Voight, JoBeth Williams. She played their daughter. Ellen Barkin was in it. And it was supposed to be Las Vegas during like the whole nuclear bomb or atomic bomb age, like scared of bombs going off. It's called Desert Bloom.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah. And so I was in it. And so anyway, I saw her and I'm like, oh my God, that's Annabeth Gish. Like I was in a movie with her as an extra. And what's really funny is that I had like no idea I was in a movie. Like I can still to this day remember like sitting in this auditorium, and it's supposed to be a spelling bee, and she's in a spelling bee. And I remember her going into the spelling bee, spelling words, and the actors behind me talking. And I'm literally like turning around, like, don't you see that there's a spelling bee going on? Like, why are you talking? and like, you can see the annoyance in my face. And then I'm like, just, messing with my hands on like the chair and completely oblivious to the fact that there was like a camera facing me. And I'm like, they probably thought like, oh, this kid's like such a great extra because he's completely not paying attention to the camera. And I'm like, no, I was just completely oblivious to like whatever. It was so funny that I had no idea. But it makes me really admire kid actors that like at that age are like crying and, performing and know everything. Like, it's almost scary that they're able to do that at such a young age, because I had no idea what was going on. And there was like big cranes and cameras and I didn't even realize that it was a movie. So anyway.
So have you seen it? Did they cut your scene? Or are you in it? Can I go watch it on TubiTV.com?
Yeah, you can go watch it. It's the spelling bee scene. It's kind of towards like a little bit past halfway. And You clearly can tell it's me because I look exactly the same, like big adult head on a little child's body, just no beard. And so yeah, you like
Okay,
anyone
so
who listens to the show or listens to us, go ahead and watch Desert Bloom, see if you can spot me,
yes.
and let us know and comment and let us know if you see me.
Yeah, I want you guys, if you go watch it, I think you can watch it on tubitv.com. I just looked it up. Desert Bloom. And I want you to go to our Twitter page, at PopCultX1, and take screenshots of it. Let's put this out there. I want to see this. I want to see who can watch it. So if you're watching this, go watch that and get your screenshots for us. This would be awesome. I'm going to do it. You guys should do it too.
Yeah. And it's actually a good movie. Like, you don't have to fast forward it. It's actually really good. Ellen Barkin is really good in it. Jon Voight is, even though he's crazy and I don't like him as a person, he is really good in it. He plays a war veteran that sort of has like night terrors and is an alcoholic. And Jo Beth Williams is like icon. Like, I love her from Poltergeist. Like, she's just a great actress. I have a sibling that's also in the movie. He's in it a little bit more than I am, because he was probably about like 12 or 13.
Okay.
And that's the age of Annabeth Gish in the film. So he's like at like parties and in the school with her. And so that's my trivia fun fact for the night.
Fun fact. I like it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So the other thing that happened over the weekend is I got to see an incredible, probably one of the best singers I've ever seen perform live, and that is Miss Jennifer Hudson at the Rady Shell in downtown San Diego, which is an amazing venue. If people in San Diego, or anyone coming to San Diego, if you haven't been to it, it's literally right by the bay, right by the water. Amazing. Sad. The only thing is that like it's super, super cozy, if you will. Like, you're like right on top of people. Like, the seats are not meant for adults. But Jennifer Hudson is an amazing, talented singer. She literally blew the roof. Well, there wasn't a roof, but the shell off of the shell. She sang a lot of the songs that she's famous for, but she also sang her version of Hallelujah by
nice.
God, what's his name? Yeah. And she also did a lot of Aretha Franklin songs because she has famously Aretha Franklin. She's just so nice. Her banter with the audience was really cool. Like, she doesn't seem at all like someone who's won an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony, which she's like one of like, I think 17. What other song did she sing? Oh, she sang from Showgirls. Showgirls? Is that what it's called? No, not
Dreamgirls.
Dreamgirls. Her famous like
Showgirls is different.
Yeah. So Dreamgirls, and it just, standing ovations, just amazing, God-given talent. Like, there's no other way to describe her voice other than like she's blessed, because it's just like ridiculous. It's just such a good voice, powerful, amazing, talented singer. She actually had someone from her season of American Idol that she famously lost as one of her background singers. So I thought that was kind of cool. Like,
that's cool
that she, helped a friend out that, maybe she worked with. And I think that kind of speaks to her character as a person. So it was a lot of fun. That was last night, and it was just amazing. Like, she's a really talented singer. She talked about filming a movie that will be coming out soon. She's also going to be hosting her own talk show. So I don't know if that's like out in the sphere or whatever, the world, but she's going to have her own talk show. So I think that actually might be kind of cool. Seeing her personality at the concert, I think she'll be able to carry it off.
Okay.
Probably similar to like Kelly Clarkson. I think she does a really good job with her talk show. I imagine it's going to be something like that.
That's cool. She is super talented. Yeah. So I can imagine just the vocals alone just must have been awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Very fun. So anything else? Any other shows, movies? Music?
Not really. I'm gearing up to go watch Hamilton soon. So I am like counting down the days till November 1st. I'm super excited for that. I don't know. I'm just like so excited. It's like the first musical would have probably been to in years. Yeah. Years. So it's just, and it's a good one to go to. So
yeah, it's an excellent one to go. If you're going to go, I mean, that's probably one to go for, right? If you haven't been in a while. Because it really is like iconic for like modern musicals. Like it epitomizes the modern musical and like having hip hop elements and diverse cast. I actually saw Lin-Manuel Miranda's star on the Walk of Fame when I went to go see him.
Nice.
It was like right in that same vicinity. It was a lot of like newer people. And so it was kind of like, I just was like, oh, there's Lin-Manuel. Like, oh, cool. I took a picture. And it was really cool because, you know, people talk a lot of crap about Los Angeles, which annoys the crap out of me. And I mean, there's so much that LA has to offer that I think that it does balance out. And it's not to diminish the poverty that is in Los Angeles and the crime, the mental health crisis, et cetera. But I feel like Los Angeles has been weaponized against liberals because California is a liberal state, and conservatives sort of just use them as an example of like, well, here you go. Here's liberal San Francisco and LA, and look, they have homeless people. But the facts are that like Texas is like much worse off than Los Angeles or California, even though that's not what the propaganda would like to tell you. And so I had a lot of fun. I went to a really cool restaurant that I forgot the name of, but was brand new, great food, a lot of fun in LA. There's so much to offer. The thing that I think really is one of the biggest draws to Los Angeles is the diversity. There's so much diversity there that is not seen in a lot of places. It celebrated diversity. And the restaurant I went to was like Japanese infused with Filipino, modern cuisine. You know, the performers in Moulin Rouge were like very diverse cast. It's just a cool city. So fuck the haters, the naysayers.
I guess if you lived there and you also lived in like San Diego, done both. I can say why people hate it. I mean, it's not the big things. I mean, it's like sitting in traffic, which should take you 20 minutes, takes you 2 hours to get anywhere. And it's just, you know, it's the little annoying things. But if you're there for specific reasons, if you're a visitor, you have to know where to go, where the tourist parts are at, and be careful where you're there because, you know, the Hollywood Boulevard is not as glamorous as you think it will be. It's a lot of rundown, not rundown, but yeah, it has a lot of rundown parts. Very dirty. Last time I was there, at least. And I know what you're saying, and it does have a lot of glitz and glamour about LA, but there are parts that I just don't like. I mean, mainly it's being a sports fan. I don't like the LA sports fans themselves. So it's nothing to do with the city itself, but it's just those people who I have to root against, mainly because their teams are always better than the teams I root for. So that's my take on it.
All right. Well, I get it, but I really hate the whole, like, I'm leaving California and going to Texas. Like that whole movement is just really ridiculous. It's so stupid. Talk about traffic. Try driving through Houston. It's so busy and so much traffic, but it's, you know, Texas is supposed to be this amazing place. And Texas is not an attractive state. It's really not beautiful.
Who said Texas is amazing?
I thought about people moving to Texas, and Texans love Texas. They think it's like their own country, and I almost wish that it would be. Like I don't want I will sign the ballot or sign not the ballot, the petition, and go ahead, become your own country. I'm all for it.
Well, the same can be said for California too, right?
Yeah, I would be so down for California to be its own country. I would be like the first one, be like, let's make our own country. Yeah,
and California would have like the 6th highest gross national product or something like that already, just if they separated. Yeah, that's how well it is. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I left California to come to Nevada because of just priced out of California, but not because Nevada is great or not because Texas is great. It's just, it's a lot easier on the wallet.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to be said about and this is ironic coming from me because I love to hate everything, but be vocal about what you love about your state. And then that's it. Like, you can love Texas, like love Texas. You don't have to hate California in order to love Texas.
That's true.
You don't have to love California and hate Texas in order to love California. Like, it's so weird that people feel that they need to hate something in order to be the other thing. Be a proud Republican. Be evil, greedy bastard. Why do you have to hate Democrats? Why do you have to hate liberals? You could be a Democrat and be a liberal, but like, do you have to hate Republicans? I hate Republicans, but I have reasons to.
And I think those reasons are shared by everyone else who hates them too. So
yeah, it's really hard. I'm a Virgo, and I try to not be a vengeful, spiteful person, but it's just so part of my nature. I can't help it.
It's all good. We'll let you go with that part. That's fine.
Yeah. I sort of relate to what's the character in The Princess Bride, where he's like, I am such and such Montoya, and I'm here to avenge the death of my father. Like, that would be me. I feel like that would be me if I was in Renaissance or medieval times. Like,
my name is Ignio Montoya. You killed my father.
And he wasn't even Spanish. He was like super Jewish, wasn't he? That actor.
I think it's Mandy Patinkin. Yeah.
Yeah, Mandy Patinkin. Like,
Patinkin, is that okay?
I think so. Yeah. It's just like, yeah. Anyway. Oh, there is another hot topic that I have tweeted about, but next month is the beginning of, I think it's around the 17th is the actual beginning of
Hispanic. I know what you're talking about. I know. Yeah.
And DC.
Oh, yes.
All of the genius of people that are at DC decided to put variant covers to various comics. Awesome. Great idea. They've done it a couple times. They do it for Asian, Heritage Month, Gay Pride, etc. I buy all the comics. I love it. They decided the common theme outside of them being Hispanic superheroes was food. So they decided to have a cover of Kyle Rayner, the Mexican Green Lantern, flying through space, holding Viva Mexico flag, holding a bag of tamales, which is the most ridiculous thing. They have
someone else eating a taco, I think.
Yes, they have Blue Beetle, who is also Mexican superhero out of Arizona, who I love. I love the character. He's swinging through the air, and they're poorly drawn, the food. Like, you can barely tell what it is. With tacos like flying out, like eating a taco, tacos falling, but out, the side. You have Jessica Cruz, who is also, I think she's half Puerto Rican, half Cuban. I don't know. She's a mix. She's Latina. She, I think, has a burrito in her hand. It's like a weird wrap. It's like weird shapes. Like, I don't know what but it's probably a burrito. Probably the worst one is Hawk Girl, who is Puerto Rican or, American or Latina. And they have her sort of flying in midair, serving like plátanos on a plate. And it's like, not only does she eat, like, she could have been eating them, but no, she has an apron on and she's like serving it. Why is the superhero Hawk Girl serving Latino cuisine, Latino food? Like, it's so weird. It literally is such a big mistake, like such a big, like, cringy, like weird. I don't even know, how many covers do you have of Superman eating a hot dog because he's American? Or it's probably Captain America would be a better. Do you have I don't know, Spider-Man eating like latkes with like his yarmulke on, or who else is, Wonder Woman eating like a gyro and a Greek salad or something, or like, it's just so weird. The only thing that I could think of is Deadpool famously, like, his catchphrase is like chimichangas. Mm-hmm. He drives like a chimichanga truck. Mm-hmm. Like, I thought maybe they were trying to go like a humorous route, but how did someone not say like, oh, do you think like Latinos might think that that's offensive, that you're reducing their culture to a burrito or a taco? Right. Like, and I'm not even going to say like, hopefully they figure this out by the time Black History Month comes around, because there are stereotypes with foods that like it will be ridiculous. But I just, it's shocking. Yeah. And if you see, like, the potential is there, like, for these really cool covers, and they totally blew it.
I think to like, just on contrary to like Phil Jimenez's Marvel comic, I saw the release he did for like the ink version of it, and that looks fantastic. Yeah, it's
no stereotypical imagery, no, tacos flying through the air, no burritos, no tamales. Like,
I almost tweeted back to you asking if the tamale one was a holiday issue, because
yeah, like, I mean, I love tamales just as much as the next person, but like, why is he flying in space, and why are they like floating out of a bag that says tamales? Like, it's so weird. It could have been such a cool, badass cover. Phil Jimenez is an artist that, like, I immediately think of, like, okay, he normally does really cool variant covers for like Pride. I have covers that he's done. I will be buying his Marvel version of like the Hispanic Heritage Month. Marvel does a great job with those. DC, like, what the hell? Like, it's just crazy. So hopefully, like, I mean, I don't know if it's too late to like press the emergency button and like bring them all back if they've already been all printed, but they got to do something. They owe us now. Like, they need to, and they might be canceling Blue Beetle, who has like, so, in the works at I think WB or HBO, whatever the hell the company is now. Who know? Like, they already canceled Latina Batgirl. Like, are they going to be canceling the Blue Beetle, Latino superhero? Like, it's just a mess. And right now is like not the time for them to be doing it when their company, is not doing great, as a brand and all of that. So really disappointing. So hopefully they move on and learn from it. And what's sad is that they got Latino artists, and I'm sure like their hand was forced. I know one cover was altered.
Yes, I was going to mention that. Yeah.
And so the original image did not have tamales in it. As crazy as that sounds, like, that we're having this conversation about like a really cool cover drawn by a really cool Latino artist, digitally altered to have a bag of tamales. Right. Like, that's crazy. Like, it's so weird. Like, that who's running things? Like, who is making these decisions?
Right. I mean, they went from what I read, that the artist created it to be reminiscent of a Mexican history book that had this famous, iconic artwork from Mexico on it. Yeah. And which is why they had the Mexican flag in one hand there. It was a lady, and they kind of were emulating that. But then to change it to a bag of tamales in the other hand, who thought of that?
And it's such a weird, like, I would even be on board if there was like a cover of like all of them, and they're like having a family meal, and it's talking about the importance of family.
That would be cool.
Latinx characters come together because they have this shared culture, and like Hawk Girl brings her dish and blah, blah, blah. Like, that would be sort of like a Norman Rockwell version of like the ideal family, right? Like sitting down for Thanksgiving dinner. That's something that I could see would be like, okay, that's Latino culture, like the importance of family, how food brings you together. They could have done something like that. That's a great idea, Gabe. Yeah, they could have hired like Maria Wolf, who is a really badass variant cover artist, who would have drawn them in such a cool, badass way. Like, they would have been cool. Like, it's weird how that when you start like comic book companies, when they start to work on, not always, but when they start to work on characters that have a like diversity dimension, all of a sudden they forget what's cool. Like, they start making them like uncool. Like, why can't we be cool? Like, there are great examples of them doing good jobs, sometimes successfully, not so successfully. Sometimes Miles Morales sometimes is like up and down. There's an episode of What If Miles Morales was Thor, and it was really bad. Like, it was clearly not written with anyone of an understanding of like an Afro-Latino culture or understanding of that at all. It was very cringy. So there are times when they try and they miss the mark. I guess I am grateful that they are actually doing something It's better. It's better than nothing, I guess. I'm saying in like a high pitched voice because I don't know, but that's all I have to say. Like I guess it's better than nothing. Do better, DC.
Do better. There you go. Yeah. DC, do better. Yeah.
There's so many good Latino artists too and writers that like call people, ask them, have a panel and have a discussion. What would be great to celebrate about Hispanic Heritage Month? How would we if they want to take that food element? How can we do it that's not patronizing or insulting?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that Phil.
Well, you already answered that, so
yeah. So anyway,
they need to call you.
Yeah, I know they should have. They should have. Yeah. Anyway, I'm still gonna buy them because I always feel like even if it's a shit cover or a shit book, I have to buy it because I have to show them that we show up to support those.
Or they'll stop doing it.
Or they're gonna say, "Look, they didn't even buy it. We put out a shitty comic, but they didn't buy it. And so I'll still buy it. So they're still going to get my money, which is kind of infuriating. Hopefully the stories are good. Maybe the insides will be better than the cover. So
sounds good.
Yeah.
I think. Well, right on. And on that note,
yeah.
I think that's all we have for you guys this week. I think we've emptied out the cupboards for you this week. Stay tuned for next week for a special guest. Hopefully, I think we might be having on. Yeah, thanks for showing up. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for liking. Thanks for sharing. We appreciate all of you. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, on YouTube, subscribe, like, get that notification bell going. That way you get notified when we put out the episodes, which are weekly, and sometimes even special episodes come out during the week. So we will see you guys next time. Thanks for stopping by.
Stay safe, everyone.